Welcome, dear dreamer. Tonight, we begin a quiet journey into one of the most mysterious landscapes of the human mind. A place you visit every night, yet can never fully hold on to when morning arrives. This is the world of dreams. Why do we dream? For centuries, philosophers, poets, and scientists have searched for answers. Are dreams windows into hidden truths, or simply the mind's way of sorting memory and emotion? Perhaps they are something deeper, an endless horizon we return to, night after night, carrying both wonder and mystery. In this gentle exploration, I'll guide you through what science understands and what it still cannot explain about why we dream. You'll hear about the rhythms of sleep, the brain's quiet theater, and the timeless sense of awe that surrounds this nightly voyage. Before we begin, I invite you to settle in. Let your body soften, let your breathing slow, and allow curiosity to guide you. If you find comfort in this space, I warmly encourage you to like this video, share it with others who may need a moment of calm, and leave your reflections in the comments. And if you wish to return for more nights of wonder, you can subscribe, so you're always gently reminded when a new journey is ready for you. Now, let us step together into the quiet frontier of sleep and ask the question that drifts just beyond waking thought. Why do we dream? You close your eyes and the world begins to soften. The edges of thought blur like watercolor paint dissolving in water. Here, sleep arrives as a quiet curtain, lowering slowly, carrying you into an inner world that feels both familiar and vast. Before dreams come, the body prepares a stage. You are lying down now, your body cradled by stillness. The day has ended, and the world outside has slowed to a hush. The noises of waking life, the rushing, the speaking, the constant movement fade into the background, leaving you with the simple rhythm of your breath. In and out, rising, falling. A tide that belongs only to you. Sleep does not come all at once. It is not like flipping a switch. It is more like the slow dimming of the lights in a theater before the show begins. Darkness thickens, quiet deepens, and your awareness starts to release its grip on the world outside. This is the soft curtain of sleep, lowering with patience, lowering with care. As you rest, your senses begin to shift. The sharpness of sight dulls first. With closed eyes, you are no longer tethered to the brightness of the world. Shapes dissolve and light scatters into formlessness. Then, sound follows. The subtle hum of the room, the distant echoes beyond the walls, they no longer ask for your attention. They become background texture, like faint brushstrokes in a painting you no longer need to study. Your body itself begins its gentle surrender. Muscles that worked for you all day begin to loosen. Shoulders unclench, your jaw softens, and even the tiny muscles around your eyes ease into quiet. Gravity feels less like a force pulling you down and more like a cradle holding you steady. You are safe here. You are being carried inward. But this descent into sleep is not only a feeling, it is a science, a choreography of biology, as precise as it is mysterious. Inside your brain, a clock ticks quietly, not a clock of gears or numbers, but one made of chemicals, cells, and cycles. This is your circadian rhythm, the ancient timekeeper that guides when you wake and when you rest. It is written into your very cells, a rhythm that has danced within living beings for billions of years, ever since life first followed the rise and fall of the sun. As darkness deepens around you, that rhythm signals to your body that it is time to let go. One of the messengers of this rhythm is melatonin, a hormone released by a small gland in your brain called the pineal gland. You can imagine melatonin as a gentle night watchman, walking through your body with a lantern, whispering to each system, "It is time to slow down. It is time to rest." It does not force sleep, but it lays the pathway, preparing the stage. Meanwhile, deep inside your body, your core temperature begins to fall. You may not notice it, but as sleep approaches, your body cools itself slightly, like lowering the dimmer switch on a lamp. A cooler body invites deeper rest. This drop in temperature is why nights feel like the natural time for sleep, and why many creatures on Earth also find rest in the cool of evening. Your heart, too, joins this quiet ritual. During the day, it beats strongly, ready to supply energy to your movements and thoughts. But as you surrender to rest, its rhythm slows. Each beat becomes more deliberate, each pulse of blood moving with unhurried grace. The parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body that governs rest and restoration, takes the lead. You can think of it as a conductor guiding the orchestra into a softer, slower movement. And while your body relaxes, your brain is not shutting down. In fact, it is preparing for one of the most remarkable transitions it ever makes: the shift from wakefulness to the first stages of sleep. This transition is delicate. In these moments, you may feel yourself drifting in and out, thoughts dissolving into fragments, sometimes sharp, sometimes already dreamlike. Scientists call this threshold the hypnagogic state. In the hypnagogic state, imagination and memory mingle. You may feel like you are floating, or hear a sound that isn't really there, or see brief flashes of images, faces, places, patterns of light. This is your brain experimenting, testing the boundary between waking thought and dream. Many artists and thinkers, from Thomas Edison to Salvador Dali, lingered here on purpose, hoping to catch the strange sparks of creativity that emerge when the mind begins to loosen its grip on reality. Slowly, your brain waves change their tune. In waking life, your brain often hums with fast, sharp patterns called beta waves, quick ripples that allow you to think, decide, and respond. But as your body sinks deeper into rest, those fast ripples give way to slower rhythms. First, alpha waves, the waves of calm wakefulness, and then theta waves, the gentle currents that guide you deeper. If brain activity were a piece of music, this would be the part where the tempo slows, where the song softens into a lullaby. It is here, in these first stages, that sleep takes its hold. Your awareness of the outside world fades further, replaced by a landscape that belongs only to you. The curtain is lowering, and the stage is being prepared for dreams. But before the dreams arrive, your body performs its own quiet rituals of healing and repair. In these early stages of sleep, your muscles truly begin to relax. Small twitches may pass through your body, like little sparks of release. Your brain tests the connection to your limbs, sometimes sending signals that feel like falling, causing you to jolt awake for a moment. These are hypnic jerks, tiny, harmless reminders that you are transitioning into another state of being. At the same time, deep within your cells, processes of restoration begin. Proteins are rebuilt, tissues are mended, and the wear of the day is gently undone. Your immune system also uses this time to strengthen itself, preparing to protect you when morning comes. Sleep is not an escape from life. It is life's essential maintenance, a nightly renewal written into your biology. As you drift further, you may not feel the exact moment when stage 1 of sleep gives way to stage 2, but inside, profound changes are happening. Your brain produces sudden bursts of activity called sleep spindles, brief flashes of rhythm that are thought to help lock away memories, tucking experiences into the long-term storage of your mind. At the same time, patterns called K-complexes appear, large waves that act as guardians, keeping you asleep even when small disturbances, like a sound outside, might try to wake you. It is as though your brain is pulling the curtains tighter, ensuring that you remain cocooned in rest. Each of these patterns is a sign that your body is investing in your tomorrow, protecting both your memories and your peace. And as you settle deeper, your sense of time begins to blur. Minutes and hours no longer feel sharp. The boundary between now and later softens. You are not quite dreaming yet, but the inner stage is set. The curtain has been drawn, the lights have dimmed, and the orchestra waits in silence for the conductor's next cue. Sleep, in this sense, is both ordinary and miraculous. Every night, without fail, your body carries you through this ritual. Billions of people across the world, countless animals and living beings, all lowering their curtains of sleep, all entering their own theaters of night. And yet, for you, it always feels deeply personal, your breath, your thoughts, your gentle surrender. What happens next will carry you deeper still. The brain's activity will shift again into slower and slower waves, into stages where rest is at its deepest and most restorative. Beyond that lies something even stranger, the flickering, dream-filled world of REM sleep, where your mind tells its nightly stories in vivid color and motion. But before you arrive there, you linger here, in the quiet of the curtain falling, in the transition where science and mystery touch hands. And so, the body continues its descent, each system settling into its role, each rhythm slowing to its nighttime pace. The soft curtain lowers fully now. The stage is ready. You are ready. You breathe again, in and out, rising and falling. The theater of your mind is silent, waiting for its first act. And just beyond this silence, waiting to unfold, lies the brain's night symphony. Inside your skull, your brain hums with rhythms like an orchestra tuning in the dark. Slow waves rise and fall, guiding you deeper into sleep. This symphony of neural patterns lays the groundwork for the dream world. Each phase of sleep has its own music. Close your eyes a little deeper now. The curtain of sleep has lowered, and you find yourself entering a quieter world. Around you, silence gathers, but inside your head, something wondrous is beginning. Your brain does not rest idly when you sleep. Instead, it begins its own performance, a secret concert played in darkness, with rhythms and harmonies too delicate for the waking ear. This is the brain's night symphony. Like any symphony, it begins with an overture. In the earliest stage of rest, gentle tones of alpha waves and the softer hum of theta waves move across your mind. Imagine them as the low strings in an orchestra, drawing a bow across quiet notes, steady and soothing. Each wave is an electrical pulse, a chorus of neurons firing together in time. Alone, a single neuron spark is faint, almost silent. But when millions of neurons fire in rhythm, the sound is like an ocean swell, rising and falling as one dot. As you drift deeper, the music changes. Your brain enters what scientists call non-REM sleep, a vast and layered composition with movements of its own. Stage by stage, the rhythms slow. In stage 2, bursts of activity appear, spindles and complexes. You can imagine spindles as sudden flurries of notes, like violins racing upward for a fleeting moment before returning to stillness. They serve a purpose, protecting your sleep, shielding your awareness from the outside world. A car door slams. In the distance, a dog barks down the street. Yet these spindles rise up like musical curtains, blocking those intrusions, ensuring you remain cocooned in rest. The K complexes, in contrast, are like deep, resonant drum beats, singular and powerful. They ripple through the mind, anchoring you more firmly into sleep. Each one is a reminder that even as you drift, your brain watches over you, listening for danger, deciding whether to keep you asleep or wake you if needed. Safety has always been the condition for rest. And so, with every spindle and every K complex, the symphony protects its stage, preserving the sanctuary where dreams will one day unfold. Then, the music slows further. You enter the deep stages of non-REM sleep. Here, the orchestra grows hushed but vast, like a choir of monks chanting in. A cavern. Slow wave sleep arrives, marked by the sweeping rhythm of delta waves. Each wave is long and powerful, A rolling tide crossed the brain. If you could see it, it would look like hills rising and falling in endless succession. If you could feel it, it would be the weight of stillness itself, holding you in its embrace. This is the moment of greatest rest. Your body surrenders completely. Muscles soften into near paralysis. Your heartbeat and breathing slow to their lowest tempo. And your temperature continues to fall. In this stage, the symphony plays its deepest notes, and the work of repair begins. Your brain flushes itself, clearing out the metabolic waste that built up during the day. A cleansing tide, like waves washing the shore, removes the debris of thought and energy. Without this nightly cleaning, the mind would become clouded. Here, in the slow rolling rhythm of delta waves, your brain restores itself for tomorrow. Memory, too, is being shaped by this music. Scientists believe that during slow wave sleep, short-term memories from the day are replayed, whispered across neural networks, and carefully woven into long-term storage. Imagine your brain as a vast library. All day long, you have filled its tables with loose notes, scraps of information, unfinished thoughts. But during deep sleep, the librarians quietly gather them, organizing, cataloging, placing them onto the shelves where they belong. The symphony provides the rhythm for this work. Each slow wave is like a turning page, a quiet reminder to file away the experiences of the day. And so, even in silence, the music is purposeful. It heals, it protects, it preserves. Your body and brain, while you rest, are performing tasks essential for life itself. But the symphony is not monotonous. Like any great piece of music, it has movements, rises and falls, tempos that change with the passage of the night. You do not stay in deep sleep forever. Instead, you cycle. Every 90 minutes or so, you move through stages. Light sleep, deeper sleep, then rising once again toward wakefulness, though not fully. These cycles repeat 4 or 5 times each night, each with its own rhythm, each preparing you for what lies ahead. Perhaps you can imagine this cycle as a journey down a spiral staircase and back up again. You descend into the depths of slow wave, sleep, then slowly rise, returning closer to the surface. But instead of emerging into full wakefulness, you arrive at a strange, flickering stage rapid eye movement sleep, or REM. It is here that the symphony changes tone. The music of deep, slow waves gives way to something more lively, more complex, almost chaotic. Brain activity quickens, resembling the patterns of wakefulness. If slow wave sleep is the low hum of basses and drums, REM is the burst of trumpets, violins, woodwinds playing all at once. The brain is alive with activity, rehearsing scenes, painting images, crafting stories. Your eyes dart beneath your eyelids, tracking the visions your brain creates. This is where dreams arise, vivid and strange. But for now, in this chapter, you remain in the earlier movements of the symphony. You are listening to the slow, steady rhythm, feeling the safety of its protection, the depth of its cleansing. Dreams are waiting, but they have not yet begun. Think of how ancient this symphony is. Long before humans named these stages, before machines recorded brainwaves, life itself had already been playing these patterns. Even small creatures, mice, birds, reptiles show similar rhythms in their sleep. The orchestra of the brain is not ours alone. It belongs to the living world, a universal song written into biology, repeating every night, across millions of years. And though we now map it with electrodes and graphs, though we can describe it in terms of hertz and frequency, the feeling of it remains poetic. You are floating on waves of soundless music, carried on rhythms that you cannot hear but only sense. Every pulse is an invitation to sink deeper. Every slow wave is a gentle hand guiding you further inward. Notice how the music of sleep balances opposites. It is active and passive, noisy and silent, protective and releasing. In one moment, your brain guards you from the world outside. In another, it lets go completely, surrendering to the tides within. It is both a performance and a healing ritual, both art and necessity. As you rest in this place, you may sense how vast the mind is. Billions of neurons, each one alive with energy, each one connected to thousands of others, all playing their part in this silent concert. You may imagine them as stars in a night sky, blinking in patterns, aligning to form constellations. The sky looks random at first, but the more you gaze, the more you see the patterns, the order, the rhythm. The symphony is the same, vast and complex, yet deeply harmonious. You do not need to control this music. You only need to surrender to it. The symphony plays whether you are aware of it or not. All you must do is allow yourself to drift, trusting that your body knows the rhythm, that your brain knows the song. Outside, the night is silent. Inside, the orchestra continues. Slow waves, spindles, K-complexes, each note carrying you further. And as the cycles repeat, as the music evolves, you will one day reach that stage where the orchestra bursts into light and color, where the dream world begins its dance. But not yet. Not now. For now, you are listening to the deep, resonant chords of sleep itself, the timeless music of your own brain. The concert is ongoing, and you are both audience and participant. You float in its rhythm, resting in its care. Just as a symphony builds toward its most vibrant movements, your sleep, too, builds towards something remarkable. Ahead lies a stage of wild energy, rapid eye movements, and vivid images, the theater where dreams will take their form. But in this moment, you remain here in the deep, slow music, waiting for the next act to rise. Your eyes flicker beneath closed lids, tiny storms of activity lighting up the mind. REM sleep arrives, vivid and alive. This is the theater where dreams unfold, a hidden stage lit by electric sparks. You drift deeper, watching your own imagination. Bloom. You lie in stillness, yet within you, a storm begins. Beneath your closed eyelids, your eyes move rapidly, darting left and right as though following invisible scenes. Your body is quiet, your muscles softened into near paralysis, but your mind has burst into life. This is the paradox of REM sleep. The body is hushed, yet the brain burns brighter than ever, alive with its own inner theater. You are stepping onto a stage without realizing it. The curtain has already risen. The orchestra that played its slow, steady music in deep sleep has shifted into something more electric, more vibrant. Neurons fire in fast patterns, almost indistinguishable from those of wakefulness. And yet, you are not awake. You are dreaming. Your brain, at this moment, is painting. Electrical signals scatter across its canvas, shaping landscapes, faces, voices, and feelings. You might see yourself walking down a familiar street or flying above clouds that could never exist. You might speak with someone you miss or face a fear that has no name. Each dream is a performance written and directed by your mind, rehearsed and acted all at once, with no audience but you. The rapid eye movements, the flickers beneath your eyelids are like the conductor's baton, tracing the tempo of this hidden play. Some scientists believe your eyes move as though tracking the dream itself, scanning its unfolding images. Others see it as the brain's overflow of energy spilling into movement it cannot fully contain. Either way, it is the visible sign of an invisible world, your imagination blooming into motion. But how does this theater come alive? The answer lies in the strange balance of chemicals within your brain. During REM, certain neurotransmitters acetylcholine, most of all surge, igniting vivid activity in the cortex, the region of your brain where thought and perception live. Meanwhile, other chemicals like norepinephrine and serotonin fall quiet, dimming the systems that regulate calm and control. The result is a mind unbound, alive with images but less tethered to logic. Like a river freed from its banks, your thoughts wander, flood, and form dreamscapes unlike anything in waking life. Consider how extraordinary this is. During the day, your brain must be precise. It must focus, decide, and separate reality from imagination. But here, in REM, precision gives way to fluidity. The stage is set for creativity. Memories blend with fragments of emotion. Old experiences fuse with new inventions. And your mind rehearses possibilities it would never allow in daylight. Dreams are not random. Even their strangest images carry threads of meaning, woven from the fabric of your life. A door you open in a dream may carry the weight of opportunities you've considered. A flight above the ocean may echo your longing for freedom. A chase through shadowy streets may give shape to hidden fears. The dream does not speak in sentences, it speaks in symbols, a private language your mind has always known. Meanwhile, your body remains still. During REM, the brain sends signals that paralyze most of your muscles, a safeguard to keep you from acting out the vivid scenes of your dreams. Imagine if your legs moved as you ran through a dream, or your arms reached for dream-born objects. Sleep would become dangerous. So your body rests in gentle restraint, even as your mind races across imagined landscapes. Only your eyes move, flickering with the rhythm of the unseen world. This balanced, vivid mind, silent body creates one of the most essential experiences of human life. Dreams are not just illusions. They are part of your brain's nightly work. Some scientists believe REM helps regulate emotions, allowing you to process the day's feelings in a safer space. Others believe it strengthens creativity, weaving new connections between distant ideas. And still others see it as a rehearsal, a way of preparing you for challenges you may face. Imagine this theater as a laboratory of the soul. Here in the Asil, here in the Hill. Quiet of night, your mind can test scenarios, explore emotions, reframe experiences. If you face conflict during the day, you may dream of argument or struggle, rehearsing your responses. If you discover something new, your brain may replay and reshape it, embedding it deeper into your memory. In REM, the brain experiments with being human, free from consequence, free to wander. But the theater is not always gentle. Dreams can shift into nightmares, sudden storms on the stage. Fear takes form, chasing you, confronting you, awakening emotions you thought were buried. Even these darker visions serve a purpose. Some scientists suggest nightmares help you prepare for threats, a kind of emotional training ground. Others believe they are a release, a way for your brain to purge intense feelings. Whatever their reason, they are still part of the same symphony, the same performance designed to carry you through the night. Notice, too, how time feels strange in this theater. A dream may seem to last hours, when in fact it is only minutes. Or it may leap from place to place in an instant, as though space and time are nothing more than props on a stage. The brain in REM does not obey the rules of the waking world. It bends them, reshapes them, tells you that you are both here and elsewhere, then invites you to believe it completely. What is most remarkable is how universal this is. Nearly all mammals dream. Birds, too, show REM-like patterns. They're small, eyes flickering as they perch in safety. Even reptiles have been found to shift between states resembling REM and non-REM. Dreaming is not just human. It is a song that life itself has written, a pattern that echoes across species. When you dream, you are part of a lineage older than humanity, older than language, older than thought as we know it. You may wonder, then, why dreams feel so personal if they are so universal. The answer lies in the way your brain uses memory. The hippocampus, that seahorse-shaped structure deep in your brain, feeds fragments of your day into the dream. But the cortex, alive with REM's energy, weaves them into stories, mixing past and present, fact and fantasy. The result is unique. To you, your symbols, your fears, your joys. No one else can dream your dream. As the night goes on, the REM cycles grow longer. At the beginning of the night, REM may last only a few minutes, brief flickers of imagery between deeper sleep. But by the early morning, REM can stretch for an hour or more, carrying you through long, elaborate stories. It is no accident that we often wake from dreams close to dawn. The theater grows richer just as waking approaches, leaving you with its final lingering scenes. Some dreams stay with you. Others vanish like smoke the moment you open your eyes. Scientists believe this is because the brain's memory systems work differently in REM. Without norepinephrine, the chemical that helps stabilize memory in wakefulness, dreams are harder to hold. They slip away, delicate and fleeting, like writing drawn in sand. Yet even forgotten dreams may leave their mark, shaping your mood, guiding your thoughts in ways you cannot name. And so you drift, night after night, through this paradoxical state, body still, mind alive, stories unfolding in darkness. Each REM cycle is a reminder that your inner world is vast, that imagination is not limited to waking hours. Within you lies a theater, always waiting for nightfall, always ready to open its doors. The performance continues, and you are both the actor and audience. You walk the stages your brain creates. You speak the lines it writes for you. You believe the impossible, and for a time, it feels as real as life itself. Then you wake, and the curtain falls, leaving you with fragments of memory, a mood, a question. And yet, the theater remains, waiting for the next night, the next act. For now, you remain here, your eyes flickering gently, your mind alive with visions only you can see. The theater of dreams is in motion, the performance ongoing, the story unfolding in silence. And just beyond this stage, another mystery waits: the chemistry of dreaming, the secret messengers within your brain, shaping the texture of every scene. In the bloodstream, tiny messengers, neurotransmitters, whisper their instructions. Serotonin, dopamine, acetylcholine, each shapes the texture of the dream. Chemistry becomes a story, molecules becoming landscapes of memory and feeling. Within your sleeping body, science and poetry merge, painting the theater of the night. You are lying still, your breath slow and even, your body heavy with rest. Yet inside, in the silence of your bloodstream, a conversation is unfolding. It is not in words, not in thoughts, but in molecules. Minute particles drift and dock, like boats touching harbors, like notes settling into chords. Each chemical messenger carries a signal, a quiet instruction, guiding your brain toward the dream. This is not a loud orchestra, not a blazing performance. It is a whisper, a chemistry of the night. Serotonin moved first, gently, like a tide, washing over the shore. It is the neurotransmitter of calm, the soft lantern glow that helps you fall asleep in the first place. When you drift off, serotonin eases your mind into the first stages of slumber, softening edges, loosening thought, preparing you for the more vivid phases to come. Serotonin feels like the hush before music begins, a deep breath before the curtain lifts. Then, another player enters the stage, acetylcholine. If serotonin is the quiet usher of sleep, acetylcholine is the spark of dream itself. It flickers through your brain, lighting up the cortex, turning memories into images, emotions into colors, thoughts into landscapes. It excites neurons, urging them to fire rapidly in patterns that resemble waking life. This is why, in REM sleep, the brain looks almost awake on a scan, even though the body lies paralyzed in deep rest. Acetylcholine is the lantern flame of dreaming, illuminating the stage. Dopamine, too, arrives. Where acetylcholine ignites imagery, dopamine weaves desire, emotion, reward. Dreams that carry joy, longing, or fear are shaped in part by dopamines. Touch. It paints motivation into your inner stories. The reason you chase, the reason you flee, the reason you feel an urgency in the dream world. Without dopamine, dreams might still be there, but they would lack the pull of feeling, the current. That makes the dream feel alive. GABA gamma-aminobutyric acid drapes the body in stillness. It quiets the muscles, holding them in place, making sure your dream of running does not send your legs sprinting in the bed. GABA is the guardian of stillness, the keeper of safety. Its presence ensures that dreaming remains internal, a stage, within the mind rather than a chaos acted out in the physical world. Without GABA, the dream might spill over, breaking the boundary between imagination and motion. Noradrenaline steps back during REM sleep, retreating from the spotlight. In waking life, noradrenaline sharpens your focus, quickens your heartbeat, and prepares your body for challenge. But here, in the theater of dreams, it is quieted. The lowering of noradrenaline softens logic, loosens precision, allows the strangeness of dreams to flow without interruption. You drift through impossible transitions, a room melting into a field, a face shifting into another face, and you do not resist. Noradrenaline's absence lets you surrender to the irrational, the surreal, the wondrously illogical. Melatonin still lingers too, like a steady backdrop. Secreted by the pineal gland as darkness falls, melatonin is not the dream itself, but the usher of night. It sets the stage, signaling to the body that the time for sleep has come. In dreams, melatonin is the quiet backdrop, a reminder that all of this, the shifting of chemistry, the blooming of visions, belongs to the realm of night. This dance of chemicals is not random. It is timed, layered, orchestrated. As you cycle through stages of sleep, the balance shifts. In deep, slow-wave sleep, serotonin and GABA dominate, steadying the brain into rest, repairing tissue, consolidating memory. Then, as you rise toward REM, acetylcholine surges, dopamine colors the mind, and the world of imagery blossoms. Dreams arrive not as accidents, but as natural outcomes of these shifting tides. Imagine your brain as a painter, and the neurotransmitters as pigments. Serotonin provides the soft pastels, calm and soothing. Dopamine splashes in reds and golds, colors of passion and movement. Acetylcholine adds the lines and shapes, the vivid strokes that define the dream's images. GABA provides the canvas itself, keeping the frame still, preventing the artwork from breaking free into the waking body. Together, they create something unique, the painting of your night. You may wonder, why chemistry at all? Why should molecules have the power to shape your inner world? Because your thoughts, your feelings, your very sense of self are grounded in biology. Every joy, every fear, every memory has its roots in tiny electrical sparks, in chemical messengers drifting across synapses. Dreaming is not separate from your body. It is your body. It is your brain, telling stories to itself in the only language it knows: electrical and chemical, pattern and rhythm. Science reveals that dreaming may help regulate these very chemicals. When you dream, you process emotions. The flood of dopamine and the quieting of noradrenaline let you rehearse fears without overwhelming panic. You live through scenarios of loss, desire, or danger, but within the safety of sleep. In this way, dreams may serve as emotional therapy, balancing the chemistry of your mind so that, upon waking, you are steadier, calmer, more whole. Other times, dreams help consolidate memory. Acetylcholine sparks neural pathways, replaying fragments of the day, rethreading them into long-term storage. You dream of a conversation, a place, a face, not because your brain idles randomly, but because it is strengthening connections, weaving learning into permanence. Even when the dream feels nonsensical, beneath it lies a biological purpose, the sculpting of memory, the refining of thought. And still, mystery remains. Why do certain neurotransmitters create such vivid dreamscapes? Why do chemicals, so small they can barely be imagined, shape visions that feel as vast as worlds? The answer may be that your brain is not only a machine, but also a storyteller. Chemistry lays the groundwork, but the mind creates the theater, filling the canvas with imagination. Just as letters form words, but words form poems, neurotransmitters form signals, but signals form dreams. Picture the molecules moving in your brain right now. They drift like stars in a galaxy, countless and small, yet together they light an entire sky. You will not remember every dream, just as you do not see every star. But the constellation of activity, the harmony of chemicals, is always there, shaping you silently in the night. And so, the chemistry of dreaming is not distant from you. It is you. Your joy, your sorrow, your longing, your healing, all encoded in the gentle passage of molecules, in the sparks across the dark spaces between neurons. When you dream, you are both scientist and poet, both subject and story. You are the theater, the actor, the chemistry, and the dream itself. As your body rests tonight, these chemicals flow again. They will paint visions across your minds. Stage, some vivid, some forgotten. You may awaken with only fragments, a color, a feeling, a fleeting image. But beneath those fragments lies a profound truth. Your dreaming brain is alive, dynamic, and endlessly creative. The dream is not just fantasy. It is biology singing. The whisper of serotonin, the spark of acetylcholine, the brushstroke of dopamine, the hush of GABA. Together, they form the chemistry of dreaming, the inner alchemy of night. And as you drift deeper, you may begin to wonder, if molecules shape your dreams, then what shapes the stories themselves? Why do certain images return again and again? Why do some dreams echo memories, while others open doors to the utterly unknown? The answer lies not only in chemistry, but in memory, in emotion, in the hidden archives of the mind. Dreams weave through your memories, like ivy through old stone walls. Forgotten moments return in strange disguises, stitched into new forms. The mind rearranges, prunes, and nurtures, a gardener tending to the soil of your experiences. In this garden, yesterday's seeds bloom into the flowers of tomorrow. You drift deeper, and the mind opens its gates to a quiet, hidden garden. It is not a garden of soil or stone, but of memory, vast, intricate, and alive. Every moment of your life, every detail you thought forgotten, is planted here, tucked gently into invisible earth. Some memories are fresh and bright, like young shoots reaching toward the light. Others are old and buried, their roots tangled deep below the surface. As you sink into sleep, your brain begins to tend this hidden place. Like a careful gardener, it selects what to keep, what to trim away, and what to replant in new patterns. This is not a conscious act. You do not need to lift a hand. The work happens quietly, beneath awareness, as natural as the rising and setting of the sun. Here, in the cycles of sleep, your brain is both gardener and soil, planting and nourishing. The process is known to science as memory consolidation, the strengthening of experiences so they endure. But you feel it more as a kind of soft reshaping, a weaving of past into present. Details that felt scattered in daylight are gathered together, bundled gently, given meaning. Think of a day as a basket overflowing with fragments, conversations, glances, tasks, emotions. During wakefulness, you collect them without pause. But in sleep, the basket is turned over onto the table of your mind. Here, the gardener's hands sort the pieces, choosing what to polish, what to compost, and what to plant again in fertile soil. Dreams are one way you glimpse this hidden tending. A conversation from years ago may reappear in new clothing, transformed into a strange encounter. An emotion left unresolved may return as a symbol or story. The brain does not always replay reality as it was. Instead, it recombines, reimagines. The way a gardener may graft two branches together to form something new. Science has found that different kinds of memory live in different corners of this garden. Declarative memories, facts and knowledge, are stored like neat rows of labeled plants, easy to identify. Procedural memories, the skills of the body, like riding a bicycle or playing a song, are rooted deeper, like hardy perennials that grow without constant care. In sleep, both are watered, strengthened, encouraged to flourish. You may not remember the gardener's hand at work, but you awaken with your mind steadier, your knowledge firmer, your skills more alive. Slow waves of non-REM sleep are especially rich for this tendency. In that stage, the hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure in your brain, plays a vital role. Think of it as the garden's seed vault, where fresh experiences are stored temporarily. During sleep, the hippocampus replays these seeds, whispering their patterns to the wider cortex. It is like passing seedlings into fertile fields, where they can grow stronger roots. At the same time, the gardener prunes. Not every detail of the day can be kept. The mind trims back the unnecessary, snipping away clutter, leaving space for what matters most. This is why you do not remember every fleeting glance or passing word. The garden must have room to breathe. Dreams often reveal this pruning through their odd, surreal quality. You may find yourself in a place that feels familiar, but slightly altered, as if certain details have been blurred or removed. These distortions are not mistakes. They are signs of the gardener's hand, reshaping memory into something more useful, more bearable, or simply more manageable. Think of a memory as a rosebush. Without pruning, it becomes wild and tangled, its blossoms lost in the thorns. With gentle trimming, the plant can thrive, its flowers brighter, its form more graceful. So too does your brain refine your memories in the night. But sleep does more than preserve. It also invents. Memories that seem unrelated may be drawn together, planted side by side until the roots intertwine. This is the seedbed of creativity. Artists, scientists, thinkers across centuries have found inspiration blooming in dreams. From Mary Shelley's vision of Frankenstein to discoveries in chemistry and mathematics, the garden of sleep has offered strange, luminous fruit. This weaving of memories into new forms is why dreams feel both familiar and strange. A face you know may appear in a place you have never been. A sound from your childhood may echo in a story that belongs to your present. The gardener is not bound by chronology or logic. It creates associations freely, planting unexpected seeds. And in these combinations, new insights are born. Even when you forget a dream upon waking, the soil has been enriched. The unconscious tending still leaves its trace, shaping your mood, your thoughts, your readiness to face the day. It is as if the roots of the dream remain underground, unseen yet nourishing. Consider too the role of emotional memory. Not every memory is about facts or skills. Some are woven with feelings: joy, sorrow, fear, comfort. In sleep, the gardener revisits these tender plants. Strong emotions are processed, softened, integrated. Trauma can be re-experienced, not to harm you again, but to allow the soil to absorb its weight. Joy can be replayed, not to fade, but to deepen its roots. This is why dreams so often carry emotional intensity. The brain's limbic system, where feelings bloom, is highly active during REM sleep. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, which governs logic and restraint, rests. It is as though the garden gates are opened wide, and emotion roams freely under moonlight, unpruned, unfiltered. Here, your heart finds expression that daylight does not always allow. Science, in its careful way, measures these processes. Electrodes track brain waves. Imaging scans reveal shifting patterns of activity. Researchers name the chemicals, chart the circuits. And yet, for all the data, the inner garden remains partly mysterious. No microscope has captured the full poetry of a dream. No chart has mapped the fragrance of memory blooming in the dark. You, however, feel it. Every morning, you carry the subtle traces of this night garden. Perhaps you awaken calmer, lighter, a burden eased, though you cannot say why. Perhaps you awaken with a new idea, a connection made that surprises you. Or perhaps you awaken simply rested, the soil of your mind refreshed. The truth is that your brain is never idle. Even in sleep, it works in service of your growth, your survival, your flourishing. The garden is tended whether you notice or not. You need only surrender, letting the rhythm of sleep carry you deeper. As you imagine this garden, you may picture pathways winding through memory. Some paths are well-trodden, clear, and easy to follow. Others are overgrown, leading to forgotten corners. Dreams are the wanderings of the gardener along these paths, discovering what has been hidden, what might be uncovered, what may yet be planted anew. You walk these paths too, sometimes knowingly, often without awareness. A childhood home may appear before you. A long-lost friend may step out of the shadows. These are the secret blossoms of your memory's soil. And so the night continues, wave upon wave of tending, pruning, planting. Your garden grows even now. As you rest, even as you listen. You may not see every detail, but you feel the stillness, the slow unfolding of the mind's hidden work. The gardener does not hurry. It knows that growth requires time, patience, darkness, as well as light. Each night is part of the cycle. Each dream another step in the care of memory. What you remember, what you forget, what you imagine, all of it belongs to the rhythm of the garden. And just beyond the garden walls, another mystery waits. If memory is tended in sleep, then why do dreams so often shimmer with meaning? With symbol, with story? What is the mind saying when it speaks in this language of images and emotions? What hidden truth lies in the theater of the dream itself? You drift toward this question now, the path unfolding before you. The night deepens, the curtain stirs, and you sense that the garden is not the end, but only a beginning. Emotions rise and fall in dreams like tides against the shore. Anxiety, joy, fear, desire, each leaves its imprint in the nighttime stories. Here, the dream becomes a mirror for your inner life, helping you process what words cannot. The theater of sleep is painted with the colors of feeling. Close your eyes, and you enter a quiet ocean where thoughts dissolve into waves of feeling. You may not notice it at first, but every dream you drift into carries the weight of your emotions, shaping its landscapes, its characters, its colors. Science tells us that dreams are not random chaos. They are reflections, mirrors of your inner world, guided by the silent pull of your emotions. In the quiet hours of the night, your brain becomes a painter, dipping its brush into the palette of joy, fear, sadness, and longing, creating scenes that echo the tides of your waking life. You have felt it before. A dream of being chased when anxiety lingers in your day. A dream of flying when freedom feels close, but just out of reach. A dream of reunion with someone you love when your heart aches with absence. These are not accidents. They are the shadow of emotion moving through the canvas of your sleep. Inside your brain, structures deep and ancient come alive during dreaming. The amygdala, that almond-shaped center of emotion, glows with activity in REM sleep. It is the Same region that fires when you feel fear, desire, or joy in waking life. Yet here, in the dream, it is unbound by external reality. It plays freely, combining fragments of memory and raw feelings into vivid illusions. This is why dreams often feel so emotionally charged, even when their logic is fractured. The stage of the dream obeys not reason, but emotion. Imagine walking into a theater where no script has been written, but the actors perform anyway, improvising based on the strongest feelings in the room. That is your brain at night. The orchestra is your heartbeat, your breath, your subtle shifts in chemistry. The actors are your memories, stepping forward in strange costumes, speaking lines borrowed from your past. And the director is your emotion, invisible yet commanding, shaping how the scene unfolds. Your brain uses these performances for a purpose. Scientists believe dreams are rehearsal spaces, safe arenas where emotions can be explored without real world. Consequences. Fear becomes a monster you run from. Love becomes a reunion with someone long gone. Anger might become a storm, tearing through the city of your imagination. Through these rehearsals, your brain practices how to respond, processes what it cannot express during the day, and allows your emotional self to soften. Picture your waking mind as a garden filled with weather. Sunlight of joy, storms of anger, winds of uncertainty. These weathers leave debris, scattered leaves, fallen branches, heavy puddles. When night falls, your dreaming brain is the gardener who walks along the paths, sweeping, pruning, tending. It does not erase the storms, but it restores balance. It lets the soil breathe again. Dreams, then, are not meaningless illusions. They are the garden's night work, where emotion finds its shape and healing quietly begins. Think of the times you have woken from a nightmare. Heart pounding, breath quickened, eyes wide in the darkness. It is unpleasant, but even here, the dream serves you. Your amygdala has rehearsed the ancient dance of survival, sharpening your instincts in a world where threats once lurked in the awe. Shadows of forests. The nightmare is a lesson, though it feels like fear. In its strange way, it prepares you for tomorrow, making you stronger in ways you do not see. Not all dreams are storms. Many are gentle rains, soft rivers of feeling. Perhaps you remember a dream filled with laughter, the warmth of reunion, the glow of love. In these dreams, oxytocin and dopamine, the brain's messengers of connection and reward, weave their spell. You wake with lightness, as though you have shared time with someone precious. Even if the dream was an illusion, the feeling is real. And your brain, ever adaptive, uses it to soothe the restless tides of the heart. Science reveals this secret. Emotions in dreams are not random, nor are they pointless echoes. They are regulators, balancers, healers. Imagine your waking self, carrying a heavy basket of feelings: grief, stress, longing, delight. When sleep arrives, the basket is opened, and its contents are scattered across the dream world. The act of dreaming allows you to carry less when morning comes. What feels overwhelming becomes softened, integrated, absorbed into the larger story of who you are. In this way, dreams are a form of therapy, a conversation between your conscious and unconscious self. One side speaks in logic, the other in metaphor. A nightmare may be your mind saying, "Pay attention." A joyful dream may whisper, "Remember this warmth." A strange dream of impossible landscapes may simply be your brain reminding you that it is always weaving, always balancing, always finding meaning even in chaos. The theater of emotion in dreams is powerful because it is safe. Within the REM stage, your body is paralyzed, muscles silenced by protective chemistry. You cannot act out the dream. You cannot run into danger. You can only watch, feel, experience. This safety net allows the wildest feelings to surface. Anger can burn without harm. Fear can chase without consequence. longing can ache without loss. Your brain gives you the gift of rehearsal without risk. You wake, fragments of the dream often dissolve, slipping away like smoke. Yet the emotions remain, imprinted quietly in your body. Perhaps you cannot recall the details of the dream, but you wake calmer, lighter, or more aware of something hidden. The dream does its work, even when you cannot name its shape. It is like rain at night. You may not witness every drop, but the soil is softer in the morning dot. Throughout history, people have tried to interpret dreams as messages from gods or visions of the future. Science offers another view. Dreams are the language of your emotions, spoken in metaphor, guided by the structures of your brain. They do not predict, but they reflect. They are not prophecies, but they are truth. Truth about what you feel, what you carry, what your heart has yet to release. Consider this. When you suppress emotions during the day, your dreams often carry them at night. The things unsaid, the tears held back, the worries ignored, they find expression in the dream world. Your sleeping mind is honest in ways your waking self cannot always be. It does not hide. It does not censor. It simply plays out the tides of feeling across the stage of imagination. This is why listening to your dreams can be gentle wisdom. Not as riddles to decode, but as reflections to honor. If you dream of falling, perhaps you are exploring uncertainty. If you dream of chasing, perhaps you are rehearsing anxiety. If you dream of love, perhaps you are nurturing what sustains you. Dreams are not literal maps, but mirrors. They reflect your inner weather, and they remind you that you are more than your waking thoughts. Even science, precise as it is, acknowledges mystery here. We can measure brain waves, track neurotransmitters, and map which regions glow during REM sleep. But the content of the dream, the story, the colors, the faces, remains uniquely yours. It is a private theater, a performance meant for one audience, you. And in this intimate stage, emotion reigns, shaping stories that science can explain in part, but never fully capture. So tonight, as you drift, know this: your dreams will carry the imprint of your heart. They will take your joys, your fears, your quiet longings, and turn them into landscapes of imagination. Some will be comforting, others unsettling, but all are part of the same work, the brain's way of balancing the tides, keeping you whole, keeping you connected to yourself. Let the shadow of emotion not frighten you, but comfort you. For even the darkest dream is a kind of care, a rehearsal, a reminder that your mind is always tending, always weaving, always healing. And as you sink deeper, beyond the stage of emotion, another question begins to rise. If dreams are mirrors of the heart, what happens when they look beyond memory and emotion, reaching into something larger, something that feels like mystery itself? For thousands of years, you have carried this same question in your heart. Why do dreams come? Were they messages sent by gods, or secret maps written by the soul? Now, modern science peers inside the sleeping brain, tracing sparks and rhythms. And yet, even in its clarity, the mystery glimmers softly, refusing to vanish. You are lying here in the calmness of night, and your mind drifts toward questions older than memory. The silence of your room feels timeless, as though you are connected to all the sleepers who came before you. People across centuries, across deserts and mountains, across forests and islands, once wondered the same thing you do now. What are dreams, and why do they appear? In ancient times, dreams were thought of as doors. Some believed they opened into sacred realms. The Egyptians recorded their dreams on papyrus, carefully noting symbols of animals, rivers, and celestial signs. To them, a dream was more than personal. It was divine correspondence, a message from gods or spirits guiding daily life. If you dreamed of a falcon, perhaps it was Horus whispering. If you dreamed of the river, perhaps it was a foreshadowing of abundance or warning of a flood. You can picture this. A quiet room in Thebes, over 3,000 years ago. A scribe rests on a woven mat, his eyes fluttering beneath closed lids. When he wakes, he writes his dream in ink, believing it holds the secret of tomorrow. Even now, across so much time, you feel the weight of his wonder, because you too wake from dreams, sometimes feeling they contain something important, something you cannot quite name. The Greeks and Romans saw dreams differently. To them, the dream was a kind of theater where gods and heroes performed. Homer spoke of dreams as messengers sent by Zeus. In temples of Asclepius, people slept in sacred chambers, hoping dreams would bring visions of healing. Imagine lying on a stone slab, under a roof of stars, waiting for a dream that might cure your illness. There is tenderness in this hope, and you can almost feel it stirring in yourself, the wish for dreams to hold answers we cannot reach in waking life. Centuries rolled forward, and interpretations shifted like sand in the wind. In China, philosophers, such as Zhuangzi, wrote about the uncertainty of dreams and waking. He told the story of dreaming he was a butterfly, only to wake and wonder. Was he a man who dreamed of being a butterfly? Or a butterfly now dreaming it was a man? You hear this question echo inside you, because dreams blur the boundary of self. They remind you that identity is softer than you thought, that consciousness is more fluid than it appears in medieval times. Dreams were shadows of morality and sin, windows where demons or angels might appear. Monks prayed for protection from impure visions, while mystics sought divine light in their sleep. You can almost hear their chanting in the distance, voices carried on the wind, blending reverence and fear. Because dreams always held power then. Power to unsettle, the power to inspire, the power to reveal what lay hidden. And then, slowly, the world changed. The Renaissance brought new eyes, curious eyes, willing to question. Leonardo da Vinci sketched the sleeping body, wondering what mysteries lay inside. Philosophers debated whether dreams were illusions of digestion or movements of spirit. The conversation kept shifting, unfolding into new patterns of thought, as though each generation added another brushstroke to a vast canvas of inquiry. You sense the continuity, a great chain of wonder, stretching from those who first looked up at the stars to you, lying here tonight. And though science has given us tools, has shown us the rhythms of brainwaves, that thread of mystery remains unbroken dot in the modern era. The question of dreams turned toward the language of the mind. Sigmund Freud, at the dawn of the 20th century, listened carefully to the dreams of his patients. He believed dreams were disguised messages from the unconscious, fragments of wishes and fears hidden from daylight. To Freud, a dream was not random, it was symbolic, a puzzle waiting to be solved. You may have felt this yourself, waking from a dream that seems ordinary on the surface, but leaves behind a strange tugging feeling. Perhaps your mind was working with something deeper, turning it into imagery like clay, molded into shapes that only later reveal meaning. Freud thought dreams protected the sleeper by transforming forbidden thoughts into safer symbols. And though his interpretations often reflected the world of his time, his core insight that dreams give voice to the hidden self still resonates. Carl Jung, Freud's contemporary and one-time student, looked at dreams differently. To him, dreams were not only personal but collective. He spoke of archetypes, universal patterns that live in all humans. The hero, the shadow, the mother figures that appear in myths and in your own dream world. To Jung, a dream was not only about your individual life, it was also about the deep river of humanity flowing through you. When you dream of flying, of chasing, of falling, you share an image as old as human sleep. It is not only your story, but part of the shared story of humankind. And then science strict, measured, experimental science entered the picture more fully. In the mid-20th century, researchers placed electrodes on the scalp and watched the sleeping brain flicker with electricity. They discovered REM sleep, a stage of rapid eye movements where dreams are most vivid. Here the theater of dreams revealed not as a divine message, but as a neurological rhythm. The eyes dart beneath. Closed lids, the brain hums with activity, and the body lies still, almost paralyzed. A paradox, the mind racing while the body rests. You can see it now, almost like standing inside the sleeping brain. Neurons firing, sparks leaping across synapses, networks lighting up like cities at night. This is the architecture of dreaming, the biological stage upon which your inner world performs. Researchers traced neurotransmitters, noticed how acetylcholine surges in REM, how serotonin and norepinephrine fall silent, creating a different chemical balance. And still the mystery deepened, because while they could map the mechanics, the question of meaning remained. Why do dreams tell stories? Why do they weave narratives so much like waking thought, yet stranger, freer, less bound by physics or time? Some theories suggest dreams are simulations, rehearsal spaces where you practice survival. Others propose that dreams knit together memory, organizing fragments into patterns. Some even suggest dreams are the brain's playground, a place where creativity runs unbound. You remember a dream of your own perhaps, standing in a city that looked like your childhood home, but with skies unfamiliar, filled with colors no waking eye has seen. Was your brain stitching memory and imagination, creating new forms from old? Science might call it memory consolidation, but in your heart, it feels like something more, a hidden story only you could tell. And so here you are, balanced between ancient questions and modern science. On one side, the voices of priests, philosophers, and poets, whispering that dreams are sacred. On the other, the hum of machines, electrodes, and data, showing that dreams are the mind's own creation. Both sides gaze toward the same horizon. Both are seeking what you seek: understanding, meaning, a glimpse of truth hidden in the night. Science, for all its brilliance, admits it does not fully know. Dreams remain partly veiled. The images you see at night rise from biology, yes, but they also rise from something less measurable: your inner life, your history, your unspoken longings. Modern tools can measure brainwaves, but they cannot measure the ache in a dream of loss, or the joy of a dream where someone you love smiles again. This, perhaps, is the gift of dreams. They remind you that not everything can be explained away, that within you there is still mystery. And it is this mystery that ties you back to the ancients, back to those who wondered before you, back to those who will wonder long after. As you rest now, you feel yourself drifting among these voices ancient. Priests, modern scientists, poets, philosophers, all gathered in a quiet circle around you. They speak in different languages, but they are all asking the same thing. Why do you dream? You realize you may never have the full answer. And yet, there is peace in this not knowing, because maybe dreams are meant to be partly hidden. Maybe they are the night's way of reminding you that life, too, is woven of both science and story, knowledge and mystery. And as your breathing slows, you carry this thought gently with you, that every dream is a bridge reaching between what you can measure and what you can only feel. Sometimes, within the dream, you awaken, a quiet realization that you are dreaming. Lucid dreams glow like lanterns in the dark, letting you shape landscapes and skies. In this state, science meets wonder, and imagination bends the rules. You drift inside your own mind, both dreamer and creator. You are floating. The dream sways like a slow tide, carrying you through corridors of shifting light. A tree bends in the wind, though you cannot feel the air. A voice echoes in the distance, though no one stands nearby. Something stirs in you, a subtle knowing, a delicate whisper. This is a dream, and then Like a lantern being lit, the darkness glows. The world around you sharpens, edges defined, colors deepened. A soft current of awareness runs through your body. You are inside the dream, but you also stand apart from it. This is not ordinary dreaming. This is the lucid state. Lucid dreams are rare and precious, shimmering islands scattered across the ocean of sleep. They arrive when consciousness stirs within the theater of REM, when the curtain of unawareness parts just enough to let you notice yourself. In these moments, you become both the actor and the playwright. You move not only through the dream, but also through choice. Science tells us that lucid dreaming is not a fantasy, not magic, but a natural phenomenon of the mind. It is a meeting point where waking awareness and dream imagery overlap, like two circles of light converging. Brain scans reveal it clearly. In the lucid state, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of reflection and decision, flickers awake even while the rest of the dream machinery hums on. It is as though part of your mind has leaned over to nudge you, reminding you that you are still you, even here. But science cannot capture what it feels like to inhabit a lucid dream. Only you can sense that sudden shimmer, the exhilaration of realizing that reality has loosened. Imagine standing on a cliff above a dreamed sea, knowing you could leap and soar into the sky, wings unfurling at will. Imagine summoning a forgotten friend, and they appear, smiling as if no time has passed. Imagine walking through walls as though they were mist, each step dissolving barriers that waking life insists must remain. Lucid dreaming is a lantern, yes, but not one you carry. It is one that glows from within you, casting light inwards as much as outwards. For while you may guide the dream, shaping mountains, rewriting skies, summoning characters, what you are truly exploring is your own mind. Each figure you meet, each landscape you wander, each impossible act you perform, all of it is drawn from your own memory, emotion, and imagination. In lucid dreams, you are both the painter and the canvas. Think of it like this. When you dream without awareness, you are swept along like a passenger on a train. The scenery passes by, strange and unpredictable, and you have no control over where you go. But in lucid dreaming, you step into the engine room. You may still follow the tracks of REM sleep, but your hands rest on the controls. You can pause, redirect, even build new tracks. The dream becomes an experiment in possibility. There are stories of lucid dreamers using this lantern, not just for wonder, but for healing. Some find courage here, facing fears that haunt their waking hours. Imagine standing in front of a shadowed figure, a nightmare that has chased you across countless dreams, and instead of fleeing, you turn, knowing you are safe. You ask the figure what it wants, and it answers in a way that surprises you. In that moment, fear dissolves, replaced by understanding. Others use lucid dreams to practice skills. Musicians rehearse within the dream, fingers moving across phantom instruments. Athletes run through routines, their imagined muscles mirroring the real ones. The brain, after all, is not perfectly distinguished between imagined practice and physical practice. The circuits fire, the patterns strengthen. The dream becomes a rehearsal hall, infinite and private, and still others seek simple joy. To fly, to breathe underwater, to walk among the stars. These are pleasures reserved for dreamers who awaken within the dream. It is not an escape from reality, but an expansion of it. For even when the dream dissolves at morning's light, the memory lingers, leaving behind not only wonder, but insight. You may discover hidden desires, forgotten creativity, unspoken truths about yourself. Lucid dreams have always fascinated humanity. Ancient texts from Tibet describe dream yoga, a practice of cultivating awareness within dreams to train the mind. Indigenous cultures speak of dream walking, moving consciously through the dream realm as a way of connecting with the spirit world. Modern researchers, with electrodes and EEG machines, confirm what mystics long suspected, that within the dream lies a doorway to self-awareness. But here is something important. You cannot always force the lantern to light. Lucidity often comes unexpectedly, a quiet spark in the midst of ordinary dreaming. There are techniques, reality checks, journals, meditation, but the lantern is delicate. It cannot be demanded, only invited. And when it arrives, you must hold it gently, for too much excitement may wake you. Notice how this resembles life itself. Awareness, whether in waking or dreaming, is a fragile, precious thing. To notice that you are here, alive, conscious. It requires the same kind of softness as noticing that you are dreaming. Lucid dreams remind you of the miracle of awareness, the rare gift of simply knowing that you exist. As you drift deeper into this chapter, let yourself imagine your own lantern. Perhaps you are in a vast garden under moonlight. At first, everything feels like a dream you cannot control. The flowers shift, the pathways twist, the air changes. And then, in your hand, a small glow appears. The lantern warms your palm. You realize you can choose where to walk. Do you follow the winding path into the forest? Do you summon a stream where none existed before? Do you call upon someone you miss, watching them arrive, luminous and kind? The lantern does not erase mystery. It simply lets you walk through it with open eyes. Science still wonders about the limits of lucid dreaming. Could we, one day, use it to solve complex problems? To explore consciousness itself? Could we train the brain to weave lucidity into every night? Or would that steal the very mystery that makes dreams so precious? Perhaps the lantern must remain rare, its glow meaningful precisely because it does not appear every time. For now, you simply drift, listening, imagining. You hold the thought that one night, when sleep folds around you, a spark may arrive. You may find yourself walking through impossible corridors, and then gently, you may realize this is a dream. And when you do, you will feel the lantern flicker to life. The dream will expand. The night will open. And you will see yourself, both dreamer and creator, both seeker and guide. And yet, even in lucidity, questions remain. For when you awaken, within the dream, you must wonder, who is it that notices? Who is it that chooses? The lantern shines, but what hand lights it? Cats twitch in sleep, dogs whimper softly, birds move as if flying through invisible skies. Across the living world, creatures dream. This universal rhythm connects you to life itself, reminding you that dreaming is not just human, but a shared inheritance of nature. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the quiet night stretching far beyond your window. Somewhere, under the same darkness, a cat curls into a warm spiral on a windowsill, its whiskers flickering as though chasing something unseen. In another home, a dog lies stretched across a rug, paws jerking gently, chest rising and falling as muffled whimpers escape into the air. High above, hidden in the branches, a bird shifts and trembles, wings fluttering as if it is flying through invisible skies. Dreaming, you realize, is not only yours. It belongs to life itself. When you sleep, you slip into a landscape of shifting thoughts, memories, and emotions. And yet, across the animal kingdom, in forms both familiar and strange, other creatures also wander their own hidden dreamscapes. It is one of the quietest connections you share with the living world. A rhythm that unites humans with cats, dogs, rats, birds, even perhaps with reptiles and fish. The story begins with observation. Long before science could peer into the sleeping brain, people noticed their animals twitch and stir at night. Farmers saw cows shifting as if walking in pastures they had not entered. Shepherds noticed dogs paddling their paws while fast asleep, as though chasing a flock only they could see. There was wonder in this, a recognition that something hidden, some echo of life, continued behind closed eyes. Today, with delicate instruments and patient study, we know that this intuition was correct. Dreams are not yours alone. Animals, too, seem to replay fragments of their lives in the theater of sleep. You might picture a rat, tiny and humble, scurrying through a maze. Scientists at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology trained rats to navigate complex paths in search of food. As they did, electrodes recorded the activity of their neurons, specific patterns firing in sequence as they ran. Later, while the rats slept, the same patterns appeared again, replayed almost identically. It was as if the rats were running the maze again, but this time in their dreams. Their brains whispered the steps: turn here, pause there, follow the path to the hidden treasure. In this way, the rat's dream became a rehearsal, a way of strengthening memory. What was learned while awake was stitched more deeply into the brain while asleep. The animal world, like your own, seems to use dreaming as a tool for remembering. Move now to the household dog, loyal companion of so many evenings. Watch as it lies at your feet, drifting slowly into stillness. First the breathing slows, steady as waves along a shore. Then, minutes later, its body stirs. Legs twitch, paws scrape against the air, and small barks escape without waking. What is the dog? Chasing in its dreams? Perhaps the same ball it carried proudly in daylight. Perhaps an imagined rabbit leaping through tall grass. Or perhaps something stranger, a creation woven from scraps of memory into a story only the dreaming mind can tell. Science cannot yet say what picture fills a dog's mind. But the signs are strong. Dogs, like you, experience REM sleep, that vivid stage where dreams arise. Their eye movements dart beneath closed lids. Their brains show bursts of activity, much like your own. In that quiet, they too step into a world of dreams. Birds, delicate and bright, also carry this inheritance. If you have ever watched a sleeping bird, you may have seen its wings twitch as though testing the air. Studies of zebra finches reveal that the same neurons active when the bird sings are reactivated at night in sleep. It is as though the finch practices its song again, shaping melody in silence, perfecting what will be sung to the morning light. Imagine the strangeness of that. A bird rehearsing in dream, so that at dawn its song is clearer, stronger, more beautiful. Its dream is not only memory, but preparation, a kind of secret training whispered in the dark. Even reptiles and fish, once thought too simple, show signs of something dreamlike. The bearded dragon, a lizard of desert lands, cycles through sleep. Stages resembling REM, its brain flickers with activity as though replaying the day. Some researchers even suspect that cuttlefish, those shifting masters of camouflage, experience dreamlike sleep. They change colors while resting, skin, flashing patterns as if practicing the transformations they wield while awake. Imagine a dream of disguise rippling across the soft body of a creature from the sea. The thought is humbling. You dream, and so do rats, dogs, birds, lizards, perhaps even the octopus drifting in a reef. Dreaming, it seems, is not an accident of humanity, but a thread woven deep into the fabric of life. Why should this be so? Why should dreaming spread across so many creatures, divided by oceans of time and evolution? One answer lies in memory. The maze-running rats tell part of the story. When awake, the brain gathers experiences. When asleep, it reorganizes them, stitching them together. This process does not belong only to you. It may be essential for survival itself. A bird that dreams its song may awaken with a clearer call, attracting a mate or marking its territory with greater strength. A rat that dreams of the maze may navigate more swiftly the next day, finding food before another competitor arrives. A dog that dreams of chasing may refine the instincts its ancestors needed for the hunt. Dreaming is practice. It is a rehearsal. It is the brain turning the experiences of today into the skills of tomorrow. But there is another possibility, quieter and more mysterious. Perhaps dreams are not only about memory. Perhaps they are about emotion too. Consider again the dog at your feet. The twitch of its paws may be a hunt, but the whimper in its throat, what does that mean? Could it be a fear remembered, a stress released, a longing expressed? Just as you dream of joys and worries, so too might animals process feelings that words cannot hold. Studies suggest that sleep helps regulate emotion. In humans, REM sleep softens the sting of painful memories, easing their emotional weight. If this is true for you, it may also be true for the animals beside you. A dream may be a balm, a gentle way of healing. Imagine the universality of this. Across the planet, creatures large and small closing their eyes, surrendering to sleep, and entering a world where memory, learning, and emotion are reworked, dreaming. As medicine, offered silently to life itself. There is a quiet beauty in this vision. The cat, the dog, the bird, the rat, even the lizard, all breathing into sleep, all stepping into invisible landscapes. They do not tell their dreams, yet they live them. In their silence, you glimpse something profound, that dreaming is a common inheritance, linking you to lives far beyond your own. You are part of this greater rhythm. When you drift into sleep tonight, you join an ancient choir. Each voice is different. The chirp of a finch, the howl of a wolf, the hum of a human thought, yet all are bound by the same underlying music. Dreaming is the song, and still a mystery lingers. For all the science, for all the brain scans and experiments, no one can fully describe what it is like to dream as another creature. You may watch a dog run in its sleep, but you cannot feel its chase. You may record the finch's neurons firing, but you cannot hear its silent song. There is wonder in that distance. Dreaming, though universal, remains private. A secret world each mind creates for itself. The animal kingdom holds countless dreamscapes, unseen and unknown, flickering quietly in the night. Perhaps this is the heart of the matter. To dream is to be alive, to carry inside you, whether human or bird or lizard, a hidden world that stirs when the body rests. It is not only thought, not only instinct, but imagination, life's ability to move beyond the moment into the possible. They remembered, the long dash forgot, and so, when you close your eyes, you step into something vast. Not only your own dream, but a current that runs through the living world, uniting you with creatures near and far. The cat on the sill, the finch in the tree, the rat in the maze, the lizard under the desert sun. All are dreamers, as you are. Night is not silent. It is filled with hidden journeys. And you, drifting, join them. Dreams soothe the mind, repairing emotional threads that fray in waking life. Like waves smoothing sand on the shore, they calm and restore. In their embrace, the body heals and the spirit regains balance. Night becomes a sanctuary where unseen hands mend what daylight wears thin. Night arrives quietly, and with it comes a gift you often overlook. Beneath the stillness of sleep, your body and mind weave together a secret restoration. It is not loud nor rushed. It moves in silence, in rhythms deeper than your awareness. Sleep becomes a kind of ocean, and you drift upon its tides. Within those tides, healing takes place, an invisible work of balance, repair, and renewal. When you close your eyes, the world outside fades, but inside, a new world stirs into motion. Your heart slows, your breath softens, and a gentle orchestra of restoration begins. Every cell, every thread of thought, finds its place within the rhythm of night, This is not just rest. This is healing. Sleep is not an empty pause, but a sanctuary where your body tends to itself, and your mind untangles the knots it carries through the day. Think of your body as a great city. During the day, its streets are busy. Lights burn brightly, traffic flows, people move endlessly. But at night, the streets are empty. Lamps dim, and a quiet workforce appears. Roads are repaired, broken lines are mended, and gardens are watered. By morning, the city feels ready once more. Sleep is that workforce, repairing your inner city when no one is watching. One of the first acts of this nightly healing is physical. Repair. While you dream, your muscles knit themselves back together. Small tears from daily use are restored. Proteins, the building blocks of your cells, are assembled and put to work. Growth hormone, secreted mostly during deep sleep, becomes the craftsman, strengthening tissues, restoring bones, even supporting your immune system. You lie still, but inside, the body is in motion, stitching, reinforcing, rebuilding, and yet, healing is not only of flesh. The mind, too, has its own wounds, often invisible, but no less real. Emotions left unresolved, worries carried like stones, find their place within dreams. During REM sleep, your brain replays them, softens their sharp edges, and stores them in gentler forms. The amygdala, the small almond-shaped center of emotion, quiets down during this stage, while the prefrontal cortex, the seat of reasoning, stays more active. This means that your fears, when replayed in dreams, are stripped of their overwhelming weight. You process them without drowning in them. In this way, dreams heal emotional bruises, one soft touch at a time. Imagine grief like a storm. Awake, it can rage, unrelenting, tearing through thought after thought. But in dreams, the storm is allowed to pass over calmer waters. The winds still blow, but they do not destroy. They are softened, reshaped. When you wake, the grief may remain, but its edge is duller, its burden slightly lighter. Sleep becomes the shelter that lets the storm spend itself without sweeping you away. Science has traced this effect in many ways. People deprived of REM sleep, the dream-rich stage, show heightened anxiety, mood swings, even difficulty regulating simple emotions. A night without dreams leaves the heart raw, unguarded. But with dreams, the emotional landscape changes. You wake not only refreshed, but soothed. It is as though the night whispered to your heart, "You are safe, you are healing. You can begin again." Consider also memory, for it too is part of healing. Memories are not only facts and images, they carry the emotions attached to them. When you recall an argument, you may also recall the heat of anger or the sting of sadness. Sleep helps separate the memory from the full force of emotion. It files the lesson away without forcing you to relive the pain in its sharpest form. In this way, healing allows you to remember without being trapped. Even your immune system listens to the rhythm of sleep. When you rest, immune cells multiply. Proteins called cytokines are released, strengthening your defense against illness. If you have ever noticed how sleep draws you in more deeply when you are sick, this is no accident. It is the body demanding the healing touch of night. Dreams in these moments become both comfort and companion, holding you gently while your body fights unseen battles. The connection between sleep and healing stretches across time. Ancient cultures spoke of dreams as medicine. The Greeks visited temples of Asclepius, god of healing, where they sought cures through dream incubation. They would lie down in sacred spaces, hoping the night would bring visions that soothe both body and spirit. While science today frames the process in terms of neurotransmitters and hormones, the mystery remains the same. Sleep heals, and dreams are part of that medicine. You may have felt this yourself without knowing it. A difficult day ends. You go to bed carrying heaviness, confusion, perhaps sorrow. Yet when morning comes, something has shifted. The problem is not erased, but it feels less sharp. You breathe more easily. A quiet strength has returned. This is the hidden gift of night, its gentle power to mend what daylight unsettles. Think of a shoreline. Waves wash endlessly, smoothing jagged stones into round, soft shapes. Night does the same with you. Its waters cover the raw, broken pieces, smoothing them with patience, with rhythm, with time. Healing does not come all at once, but little by little, night after night. Lucid dreaming, the state where you know you are dreaming, has also been studied as a tool for healing. People who suffer from recurring nightmares sometimes use lucidity to reshape their dream, turning a terrifying image into something harmless. A shadow chasing you becomes a figure you can turn to, even speak with. A fall becomes a flight. Through awareness, the dream itself becomes part of the therapy, helping the mind confront what once overwhelmed it. Yet healing is not always about changing what is broken. Sometimes it is about resting in what is. Night invites surrender. You do not command your cells to heal. You do not direct your brain to soothe your heart. It happens without your effort. Healing is not something you must earn. It is given freely, if only you allow yourself to rest. There is humility in this. The world teaches you to strive, to push, to control. But sleep teaches you to let go. It reminds you that restoration is not always in your hands. It arrives in stillness, in quiet, in the unseen work of night. In this surrender, there is a lesson. Sometimes, healing begins when you finally stop trying to heal as you drift into. This understanding, imagine again the garden within your mind. In daylight, weeds may grow unchecked, soil may feel dry, flowers may droop. But at night, unseen gardeners arrive. They prune, they water, they tend. By morning, the garden is refreshed. You did nothing but rest, and yet everything was restored. And so the healing power of night continues, each evening a chance for renewal. Each dream is a thread woven into the fabric of balance. Sleep does not only pause the day, it repairs it. Night does not only conceal the world, it restores it. And you, within this rhythm, are made whole again and again. Healing is not a single act but a cycle, like the moon waxing and waning, like tides rising and falling. Every night, the cycle repeats. You enter its embrace, and it carries you. You may not see the work being done, but you feel its echo when you rise. Night after night, this gift remains. A quiet medicine, older than memory, always waiting, always returning God. And as you breathe into that thought, you wonder if night is the healer of wounds. What other hidden purposes might dreams still hold? Dreams speak in the quiet dialect of imagery. A bird might mean freedom, or it might mean longing. A falling stone could echo fear, or simply gravity remembered. These symbols are not riddles to decode, but soft poetry from the unconscious. Shifting, personal, endlessly fluid. When you dream, the mind does not speak in sentences. It does not write paragraphs with commas and punctuation marks. Instead, it whispers through images, through landscapes, through sudden encounters with animals, strangers, or shadows that feel familiar even when you cannot place them. This is the language of symbols, the mother tongue of dreams. It is a language older than words, one that existed long before alphabets or books, born in the instinctive rhythms of the human mind. When you slip into sleep, you return to that language, as if rediscovering a forgotten dialect carved into the folds of your brain. You may dream of a bird taking flight across an endless horizon. In waking life, you might say, "Ah, this is freedom." But within the dream, the bird is more than just freedom. It is motion, it is lightness, it is escape, it is possibility. It is an emotion you cannot name, stretched across feathers and wind. Symbols are layered in this way. They are not locked into a single definition, the way a dictionary binds words. Two meanings. Instead, they breathe, they shimmer, they transform depending on where you are in your life, what you are carrying, what you are resisting, and what you are quietly longing for. To dream of water in youth may feel like play. To dream of water in grief may feel like drowning. The image is the same, but the soul that looks upon it is different. Science has studied these patterns with careful curiosity. Researchers have found that when you dream, the visual centers of your brain, those regions that interpret images in motion, come alive. It is as though your mind paints with its own neural brush, sketching pictures and scenes in the absence of real light. The amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure linked to emotion, sparks to life, giving those images weight and feeling. This is why a simple object, a key, a doorway, a flame, can feel so heavy with meaning in the dream world. You may notice how symbols repeat themselves. For some, it is the dream of falling, the sudden drop into emptiness. For others, it is the dream of teeth loosening, or of standing on a stage unprepared. Psychologists suggest that these repeated images are the brain's shorthand, recurring metaphors that echo the inner state. Falling might represent a lack of control. Teeth might speak of change, of vulnerability, of time passing. Yet no symbol is universal in the same way for everyone. The dream always bends to the dreamer. Take the image of the snake. In one culture, it is dangerous, a venomous strike. In another, it is healing, the serpent entwined around a staff, the ancient symbol of medicine. In a personal life, a snake could be fear, temptation, wisdom, or simply the memory of a story told long ago. The dream does not choose for you. It offers the image, and your inner world fills in the meaning. This is why interpreting dreams is not about solving riddles. It is not about opening a dusty book and finding the single definition. Instead, it is about listening to your own associations, your own responses. When you see a door in your dream, ask yourself gently, what does a door mean to me, here and now? Is it an ending, or is it a beginning? Is it an invitation, or is it a barrier? The symbol bends with the light of your life, shifting like glass held against the sun. Imagine walking through a dreamscape as though it were a gallery. Each object is a painting on the wall, rich with color and suggestion. You wander slowly, pausing before each one, noticing what it stirs in you. This is how you learn to hear the language of symbols, not by forcing meaning, but by allowing resonance. Like listening to music in a language you do not speak, you feel the rhythm before you grasp the words. Even in science, there is humility here. Neuroscience can measure the brain waves, the chemical surges, the firing of neurons as dreams unfold. But it cannot pin down why one person dreams of flying while another dreams of sinking beneath the sea. The symbols are shaped by memory, by culture, by subconscious associations too subtle to trace. In this way, dreams resist full capture. They remind you that the human mind is not just a machine of logic, but a poet of imagery. There is something healing in this symbolic language. Because symbols bypass the analytical mind, they touch you more directly. When words are not enough, when grief or joy is too large for sentences, the unconscious finds another way. It sends an image instead. A tree with roots deep in the earth, or a house filled with light, or a path winding into mist. These images carry what the conscious mind struggles to hold. They let you process without needing to explain. Think of a child drawing a picture before they can write. The crayon. Lines may look simple, but they carry feelings too big for words. Dreams are the adult version of this, the psyche's artwork, sketched in the dark, carrying meaning in color and form. Across history, people have recognized this symbolic tongue. Ancient Egyptians believed dreams were messages sent by the gods encoded in imagery. Greek philosophers debated whether symbols in dreams reveal truth or illusion. In indigenous traditions around the world, dreams are often seen as guidance, visions that link the sleeper to ancestors and the land. Even today, in modern psychology, symbols remain central. Carl Jung spoke of them as the language of the collective. Unconscious, the shared patterns of humanity rising up in the night. But perhaps the deepest truth is simpler. Symbols are the psyche's way of speaking to itself. They are you, talking to you, not in words, but in images. They are the lanterns lit by the unconscious, shining just enough light for you to glimpse what lies beneath the surface. The next time you wake from a dream, instead of asking, "What does it mean?" you might ask, "What does it feel like?" What lingers in your chest when you recall the bird, the water, the door, the snake? That lingering feeling is the key. The symbol itself may shift, but the feeling it carries is true to you. Symbols are not commands. They do not dictate action. Instead, they invite reflection. They are like the tide brushing your feet, gentle, suggestive, reminding you of something deeper that waits beneath. You do not need to dive immediately. It is enough to notice the water's touch. And so, as you drift into sleep, your mind gathers its paints once more. It sketches a forest, a city, a sky full of stars. It sets before you animals, objects, landscapes. Each one is a fragment of your own story, reshaped into metaphor. Each one is a mirror, though sometimes tilted, sometimes clouded, sometimes shining with perfect clarity. You walk among them quietly, as if moving through a library where the books are alive, breathing, waiting for you to open them. There is no rush. There is no right or wrong interpretation. There is only the rhythm of symbols, moving with the tide of your unconscious, inviting you to listen with patience. And in this way, the dream becomes not only a mirror, but a bridge. It connects your waking mind with the deeper layers of your being. It shows you, in pictures, what words cannot hold. It gives you space to feel, to wonder, to remember what lies beneath the surface of thought. So you close your eyes again, knowing the language will return, the bird will fly, the stone will fall, the water will rise. And in each symbol, you will hear a whisper. Not a riddle, not a code, but a soft reminder from yourself to yourself. Night arrives faithfully, a tide that cannot be stopped. It carries dreams as gently as the moon carries its silver light. Science maps patterns and measures waves, yet mystery still lingers. Perhaps the question is not why dreams come, but why. They feel like home. Night comes like a traveler you know well. It does not rush. It does not knock. It simply arrives, steady and certain, carrying with it the same ancient rhythm that has guided all living things for as long as memory reaches. You feel it each evening as the sky deepens and the world softens. A reminder that rest is not a choice, but a natural return. A circle you have always belonged to. Sleep is a horizon you approach slowly. You never leap into it. You drift like a boat carried from the shore by a quiet current. Around you, the noise of the day grows faint. The voices of obligation, worry, and thought soften. Your body releases its grip on wakefulness. A great silence gathers, and within it, your mind begins its mysterious work. Science can trace this descent into sleep. Electrodes placed on the scalp reveal rhythms of brainwaves, each stage with its own signature. First, the gentle slowing of alpha waves, then the deeper descent into theta, and finally the profound restorative depths of delta sleep. It is like watching the ocean tide change beneath moonlight, invisible in its pull, yet deeply felt. Ride upon this tide. In rapid eye movement sleep REM, as scientists call it, the brain ignites with activity. The eyes dart beneath closed lids, the heart may quicken, and the mind begins to paint its nightly theater. To scientists, this stage resembles waking thought, a paradox of sleep. To poets, it is the open field of imagination. To you, it is the landscape where memories, feelings, and fragments of self gather and rearrange. And yet, no matter how carefully science measures, the mystery persists. Why do we dream? The question has followed humanity for millennia, whispered around fires, pondered in temples, written in books of philosophy and psychology. Some believed dreams to be divine messages, arrows sent from gods. Others thought them shadows of daily life, reflections on the surface of the unconscious. Today, neuroscientists describe them as processes of memory, emotion, and creativity. And still, the answer feels incomplete, as though the dream itself resists being reduced to a single definition. You notice this resistance in yourself. Even when you wake and try to explain a dream, words falter. The dream feels larger than language, shaped in symbols and sensations. You may tell someone, "I was flying," but the experience of flight, the rush of air, the weightlessness, the endless horizon beneath you, cannot be carried fully into waking speech. Dreams belong to another kind of knowing. They live in a language older than the explanation dot. Think of them as letters written in water. While you sleep, they are vivid, flowing, and alive. The moment you wake, they begin to fade, dissolving at the edges. Some remain, etched sharply, refusing to be. Lost, others vanish before you can even grasp them. This too is part of their mystery. Their fragility, their impermanence, their fleeting gift. Science offers reasons for this fading. The hippocampus, a region of the brain that stores new memories, behaves differently during REM sleep. Without its usual process of stabilization, many dream details evaporate. And yet, what remains often matters more: the feeling, the mood, the imprint left behind. A dream of falling might not linger in detail, but the sensation of fear or surrender can echo through your morning. A dream of reunion may vanish in the storyline, but leave you with warmth that lingers in the heart. In this way, dreams heal. Studies suggest they help regulate emotion, processing grief, fear, or joy in a softer way than waking life allows. They may also strengthen memory, linking new experiences with old ones. But beyond the science, you know this intuitively. You have felt mornings when you woke lighter, as if a weight had been carried for you in the night. You have also felt mornings when dreams unsettled you, stirring something unresolved. Dreams touch the soul quietly, shaping your days in ways you cannot always name. Across the world, cultures have honored this mystery. In ancient Egypt, dream temples stood where people would sleep to receive visions. In indigenous traditions, dreams have long been guides, carrying wisdom from the unseen. In modern times, dream journals and therapies invite us to listen more closely. Everywhere, in every age, humanity has recognized that dreaming is not simply a byproduct of the brain. It is an experience woven into the fabric of being human. And not only humans. As you recall from earlier journeys, animals too dream. Cats twitch, dogs run in their sleep, birds flutter. Science has found REM sleep across the animal kingdom, suggesting that dreaming is not just an oddity of our minds, but a shared inheritance of life itself. Imagine that, a universe where countless creatures drift into their own inner theaters every night, each carrying stories unknown, each touching the mystery from within. So here you are, on the endless horizon of sleep. It stretches not as a line you can cross, but as a circle that carries you night after night, life after life. Each evening you return to it. Each morning you rise again, carrying traces of the journey. Like waves, dreams come and go. Like stars, they appear and fade. They remind you that life itself is a rhythm, not a fixed state. Perhaps this is why the question, why do we dream, never feels fully answered. Perhaps it is not meant to be. A horizon is beautiful not because you reach it, but because it stretches before you, always inviting. To dream may be the same, an invitation, not a conclusion. Think of the horizon at sea. No matter how far you sail, it remains before you, endless, radiant. Dreams are like this horizon, shimmering always at the edge of your awareness. They guide you not to an answer, but to a deeper way of seeing. They remind you that not everything must be solved. Some things can be lived, felt, embraced without finality. In this way, dreams are like sleep itself. Science may explain their stages, their cycles, their chemistry. But the experience, the surrender, the letting go, the renewal remains beyond explanation. You do not need to understand every detail to be carried by it. You only need to rest, to allow yourself to drift, to trust the tide. And so, as night gathers, you stand once more before the endless horizon of sleep. You breathe slowly. You let the body soften. You let the mind loosen its grip. You open yourself to the mystery, not as a puzzle, but as a companion. Dreams will come as they always do. They will bring fragments of memory, flashes of imagination, whispers of emotion. They will dissolve and reappear, shifting like clouds across a dark sky. They will ask nothing of you but presence. They will offer you not answers, but experiences that shape you in ways no waking thought can dot. And when you wake, you will carry something back, though you may not know exactly what it is. Perhaps a lighter heart, perhaps a new idea, perhaps only the faintest trace of wonder, but always something. Always, the dream leaves its mark. In this way, you realize the dream itself is the answer. Not why, not how, but the simple fact of its presence. Dreams exist. They carry you. They restore you. They connect you to yourself, to others, to the vast web of life. They are both mystery and medicine, horizon and home. As you close your eyes. Tonight, you move toward this horizon once again. You step into the circle. You surrender to the tide. You drift not away from life, but deeper into it. And as you float into the unknown, you remember, the mystery does not need to be solved. It only needs to be lived. And so, dear dreamer, our journey for tonight drifts to its quiet close. We have wandered together through the hidden corridors of the mind, where science offers glimpses of truth, yet mystery still lingers like starlight just beyond reach. Perhaps dreams are messages, perhaps memories woven into a story, or perhaps they are simply the language of the night itself, a reminder that not everything needs to be fully understood to be deeply felt. As you carry these thoughts into your own sleep, allow them to rest softly in the background, like waves against the shore. You do not need to hold on to them. They will wait for you, ready to return when you wish to dream again. If this journey has brought you a sense of calm or wonder, I invite you to gently show your support with a like, a share, or a reflection left in the comments. And if you'd like to join me again for future nights of quiet exploration, you can subscribe so that each new story finds its way to you. For now, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let the horizon of sleep carry you further. The mystery of dreams is endless, and it waits for you again, just beyond tonight.